Alright people, good morning. This video is about that dreaded airing up and airing down. Everybody hates to do it and it takes forever, especially with the bigger trucks. So I watch so many guys, other channels on YouTube, they fuck around and wait till they're stuck before they air down. So this episode, I've made myself a rapid inflator and deflator. So I'm going to run through how I made it and how it all works. And maybe then people will start airing down and not getting stuck so much. So stay tuned, watch the rest of the video, and at the end of it we'll do a demonstration and a timeline to show you how much quicker it is to air down and air up. And this is on a 46-inch tire. So this video isn't just on Mogs. This apparatus, or whatever you want to call it, manifold, would work on anything. But this is us doing two 46-inch tires at the same time. So the first step to the manifolds is machining a hole down the guts of the round stock that we're using. So here's Josh drilling a 12.5mm hole right through the guts of it, which will then look like that right through. So there's the first one set up in the mill. I should use a fly cutter, but I can't find them after the move, so we're just using this. So it's not the ideal cutter, but it will do the job. And so then we'll machine a flat in here so that we can put the air fittings, and underneath we'll put the dump valve and then a pressure gauge on here. So that's where we're at the moment. So that's sort of stage one. You can see there we've done a very light pass, but effectively that's what we're going to do, is machine a flat that length so that we can drill and tap into it for all the different fittings. Again, yeah, that's not the ideal cutter, but it'll do the job. So there's the finished product of the first flat. So we'll do another flat on the bottom here to put in the middle here, because that's where the release valve is going to be. But yeah, that'll have the two chuck fittings or Nitto tyre valve fittings and a pressure gauge about there. So we're just using a square to make sure that this next flat's 90 degrees to that flat. So next stage in the manifold is drilling all the holes to tap the threads. So we've set it up square to that bottom face again. And then so we'll drill the two holes for the Nitto fittings, and then that third hole up there will be for the pressure gauge. So Josh will go through and drill all the holes. Next stage is to tap all the holes. And then it'll all start to make sense. We can start putting fittings in it, and everything will make sense. The next part of the project is we're going to drill and tap two holes here for the mounting. So we'll set them back up in here because it's get them square. Line that up against that, so then we're all square. And because these aren't a tapered thread, I'll actually use the mill to tap the holes as well. The other ones are all tapered, so I'm not a fan of doing them in the mill, so hence we did them by hand. Next step, running the thread. the first finished air manifold. So this is what it looks like. So this mounts this way in my truck. Now people, these aren't Mog specific, these will work on any car that has air compressor, whether it's engine driven or electric. So that'll go to one tyre, that'll go to the other tyre. The way this is mounted, that'll be front, that'll be rear, makes no difference. This tap here, that's the tap that you will air down with. So you'll plug this boat into both wheels, air that down, and that'll air down. That gauge will tell you what's in the tyres. Now that only goes 0 to 100, just because the other gauges, you know, 200 or whatever, there's not enough increments, so it's a bit hard to get it somewhat accurate. So 100 psi, that tap and that fitting will go to the compressor. So whether it's an engine driven compressor, electric compressor, makes no difference. Turn that on, make sure this tap's off, turn that one on, it'll air up, that'll tell you what you're at. Now the only drawback with using the 100 psi gauge is, especially on the engine driven ones, the cars run, you know, 10, 12 bar, 15 bar, so that's a lot higher than 100 pounds. So when you crack this, you're gonna have to do it gently till the air starts getting into the tyres, otherwise you'll have a hernia with the gauge. This is an oil filled gauge, so hopefully it stops it bouncing as fast, but that's the only drawback. You know, I'd need on the Mog, I'd need like a 300 psi gauge, and then you'd never have enough increments to do, you know, 20 pounds accurately. So that's the first manifold. We'll fit it up, I'll do the other manifold, and then we'll show you how it all works. Alright people, so I've shown you all mounted on the truck. So now I'm going to explain how the system works. So we're going to pretend this is your valve in your wheel. Alright, so normally you got a Schrader valve in the middle. That is the limiting factor as to how quick you can put air in and air out. Now all the aftermarket deflators, you can wind that valve out, lets the air out, put it in, and we all know how much quicker that is. So what I've gone ahead and done is on the end of all my hoses is a Nitto fitting. Same as what every other workshop uses and most of you have on your home compressors. So what I've done is I've machined, so that's a normal Nitto fitting that goes into your air tools. Alright, so what I've done is machine up an exact copy, but internally it has the valve thread, so it'll screw on the valve. This valve is the one that's on your wheel. Alright, so then that allows us to take the Schrader valve out, and therefore it's a lot bigger hole. Plug this, my air hose will plug straight onto it like that, and then that's how we can air up and air down a lot quicker. So I'll now fit them to the truck and do a demonstration. So now here is the step-by-step how I connect all this to the wheel. So first step, screw that over there.
The fitting you made?
The fitting that we've machined goes over the valve. Screw it on. Till it's tight, which does that. Alright, so that's screwed on there. So the next trick is to take the Schrader out and then plug that on. Like that. So you need to do that. This does 2 wheels at a time, so now I need to do it. Okay, both the hoses are connected to the wheels. So we're currently running 60 pounds in the tyres. That's what I run on road. Everyone's different, but that's what I run on road. So this knob here is going to deflate them. So now we're going to time how long it takes from 60 down to between 20 and 30. Let's just say 30 for argument's sake, which is what most people will use off-road in one of these trucks. All right, ready? So there we are, 30 pounds on the button. So that has taken that long to drop both these tyres. So from 60, and they're a 46, don't forget they're a 46-inch tyre. Unimog people will know that, but everybody else won't. So now we'll start the truck up, bring the revs up. We usually 1300 in these things, and we'll time how long it's going to take to get them from 30 back up to 60. Go. So there we go, 3 minutes. So we ended up with 1 minute 10 to deflate the tyres, and 3 minutes 40 to pump both tyres back up to 60 pounds. For those that own a Mog, that's extremely quick. So now all we do is a reverse, take the valves out, take the valves off, put the